Hey guys, it's Tarot and Beyond. My name is Siobhan if you're new here. If you're not, hey, what's up? This morning has been an interesting morning. This whole week has been interesting. And there's been a heavy emphasis from Spirit coming through message-wise about relationships, love, shadow work, deep, deep, deep emotional healing, and a new beginning. There's like an energy of a purge going on and a reset of some kind, like resetting the self by, when there's those videos on TikTok of TikToks could be significant. I was actually seeing, like the little candy a couple of times this week. That's interesting. I did not make that association. Maybe that means something for someone, but there's something, like on TikTok when they do resetting my house and they clean the entire house. They make sure everything's like brand new almost. There's something about that's coming through, and the healing quality of doing that at a soul level emotionally, and what that actually looks like when it comes to looking at the shadow self and identifying parts of the self that we identify as quote unquote trash. Maybe it needs to be recycled or it needs to be seen in a new way. I'm hearing one man's trash is another man's treasure. So there's treasure in the shadow. There's emotional gold in them thar hills, because we've dug deeper. That's another synchronicity, digging deeper, being able to dig down into the self to recover these parts that have been lost, that have been fragmented, fractured, forgotten, abandoned, rejected, shamed. That's a big one as well, like the energy of shame, and where we can recover those parts of the self and what they're actually meant to teach us and the value in that. So the energy we have is the Empress, the Fool card, and the Lovers. And this is not even like what that energy was coming from. These are just the cards that came out. I was already getting all of these messages before even pulling any cards. So this is just confirmation to me of the message that Spirit is bringing through. There's a deep healing also of the mother, that archetype or that theme or that individual. It could be like a part of yourself, the mother archetype within yourself, and how that needs to be recovered in some way. There's something about hidden things in the subconscious as well. Oh yeah, we've got the Moon card. Something hidden in the subconscious, the shadow self that needs to be healed in regard to relationships underneath that, the Two of Cups. So this is exactly what I'm getting. This is what they've been telling me. And this clarifies it a little bit, but I want to go deeper because I still feel like there's something that Spirit is wanting to relay here that's very specific. And it's specific to me. It's also specific to you if you were drawn to this video, if you felt called here. It's for a reason. It's because they're showing me somebody trumpeting. Spirit is like heralding you to be here, to understand this message or to understand this part of yourself or the healing work that's going on right now. Oh, they're showing me a wave collectively. So I'm not the only one experiencing this. Even if you're doing this on a different timeline, like you see this in the future from when I'm recording it, it doesn't matter because there's no separation. And whenever you experience something, it's happening in the non-linear time of now. Yes. So the Queen of Cups is also here. This is also giving me mother energy along with the Empress and how we can nurture ourselves a little bit more deeply. Now, it's interesting that she's kind of looking back, but I love that her third eye is glowing. Actually, a lot of these cats in the Soul Cats Tarot have eyes that glow, or third eyes that glow, foreheads that glow. So there's an awakening of some kind happening here, a realization of the truth I'm hearing. But it's through the emotional body. Somatic, I just heard something about somatic healing could be helpful here, or movement, to be able to move that energy through, to feel it, to express it. That could actually be one way of transmuting it or getting it out. Yeah, they're saying taking out the trash again. So being able to move the body or to excrete that emotional energy in a physical way is going to be helpful here. They're saying something about what the mother would tell you to do. And she's sitting on this soft pillow. So it feels like something about softness, a soft approach. But I also just heard tough love. Okay. They're saying sometimes the toughest love is the softest. What do you mean by that? The toughest love is the softest? And they're showing me, okay, the next card we have up is the Five of Pentacles. And they're showing me it's like opening the door and inviting this cold, lonely, abandoned cat into the house. Something about welcoming. Oh yeah, welcoming the shadow self, welcoming these parts of the self that have been abandoned, rejected, shamed in some way, deemed unworthy, I'm hearing. Set aside or imprisoned as punishment because they're bad or they're wrong. It's being able to look at these parts of the self as worthy, as welcome. I am hearing uninvited guests. So they may have been knocking on your door, these shadow parts of the self. They could have come up through triggers. That was another thing Spirit was showing me, like themes about being triggered in certain situations, specifically in relationships, in conversation with other people, or in not having said what you needed to say, and then it building up and coming out as an explosive reaction to something small or seemingly insignificant or something big. Whatever it was, there's a trigger, and the trigger is showing you where the wound is, or it's showing you where the part of yourself that needs to be discovered more deeply or uncovered. They keep showing me people digging. So it's like digging into the dirt of the subconscious, into the deep parts of the shadow self. And that's where this will be revealed. Now they're bringing me back to that message about the mother, something about like the toughest love is the softest. They're showing me a crab without its shell. Oh, the toughest love, the toughest is being vulnerable with ourselves, being vulnerable with each other, especially communication, and being able to be honest. But to be honest with other people, we have to be willing to be honest with ourselves. They're saying something about lying to the self, and that being part of the shadow. The shadow archetype could be a liar. It could be a thief. It could be a brat. It could be an aggressor, a bully. These are the shadow archetypes that live within us all. It's not just you. It's not just me. It's everyone. It's collective. It's humanity. So why are we ashamed of them? Well, because we don't want to identify with them, because they're seen as morally wrong. And I'm not saying to go out and embody these shadow archetypes. It's not how you heal them. How you heal them is understanding them, understanding their true core motivations and why they do that. You know, the thief steals because they feel like they lack something. So treat the root of the problem. Digging down into the root to get to the core of this. What is the motivation? It's like an actor playing a role and being like, what's my motivation? Why am I doing this? It's asking yourself that, not identifying with it, just seeing it as a role that needs to be understood. Now we have the Queen of Pentacles as well. And this is talking to me again about the root. It's like getting into the root of it, getting to the deep roots of it, finding where there's something that needs to be purged from within the roots, or something in the soil that needs to be uncovered that's impeding the roots from growing. Because ultimately, what the shadow's meant to do is to help us to evolve, ironically, because a lot of the time it's what holds us back. But whatever holds us back actually propels us forward. They're showing me a slingshot, bow and arrow. Sagittarius could be significant. Dennis the Menace archetype, it's like something that's been terrorizing you. Like you just want peace and calm. And this little, maybe it's part of your inner child. Dennis the Menace is a child. Maybe it's like an unruly part of yourself that's just running amok and needs to be tempered. Oh, I wasn't even... Needs to be tempered was the last thing I said. And I looked down, and of course we have the Temperance card sitting ready on the table. I forgot that it was here. Temperance. It needs to be tempered. How do we do that? By steeling ourselves. Steeling, S-T-E-E-L-I-N-G. To what we need to see. They're showing me armor, and it's interesting because when you create armor, or when you create a sword, Archangel Michael could be significant here as well. We also have the Page of Swords. I forgot to mention. I'll talk about that. Oh, and the Emperor underneath. Okay, we'll get to that. The Dragonfly is also significant. Okay, sorry. They're just like pulling me in so many directions right now. And they're telling me this is connected to the message temperance is bringing. It's because if you're pulled in so many directions, it's going to create thin armor or a weak blade. You kind of have to fold things in on themselves and expose them to extreme heat and extreme cold to be able to have this layered effect that becomes tempered and strong. You also have to burn off the impurities or the impure metals, the metals that are not going to help the strength of the sword or the armor, the steel, to really be a protective thing or something that you can use as a tool. They're showing me plunging a hot sword into cold water. Yeah, that's part of the tempering process. The cold water, like a cold plunge, it's kind of like a shock to the system. And it leaves you gasping for breath. Your body has to react to that. So there's something about these reactions, visceral, physical reactions, that are actually going to help us to heal because they show us parts of the self. They're talking about biology now. They're saying something about biology, the biology of the being. Biomechanisms, they're saying. Spiritual healing of the body, or spiritual healing of the soul or the spirit through the body. I just heard endometriosis. I don't know that. Whenever spirit gives me something super random and like out of left field like that, it's for someone specific. Endometriosis. Okay. There's something about the body. They're saying seeds of growth, healing the body through this temperance process. Hot and cold is also something they were showing me this morning. It was a synchronicity that they gave to me clairaudiently, and then they guided me to a video of mine from like 7 or 8 months ago, which I'd forgotten about. And one of the things I said in that reading was, it's like playing a game of hot and cold, you know, warmer, colder. If you're getting warmer, if you're moving towards it, you're getting colder if you're moving away from it. It's like this body sensory system that it's the intuition, basically. It's like the embodied spirit. Yeah, the embodied spirit that helps to show us the direction we're moving in and if it's aligned or not. And sometimes we have to get out of alignment to be able to find the parts of the self that are causing that in the first place. They're showing me a rudder, something about a rudder chain, disabled. That's from Pirates of the Caribbean. Maybe it's like having no plan, but there's a plan in the plan. You know what I mean? Makes me think of like Jack Sparrow and how he kind of flies by the seat of his pants all the time, but it works out. And it's like trusting yourself to be able to go a little bit in a disorganized way or by feel. They're showing me a blind person going like this and like walking, trying to find their way by touch, through the sensory, through the body. But to do that, we have to be clear in our feeling senses. We have to have that clear intuition. They just corrected me. They said not all the time. Not all the time, because there's going to be times where that's clouded or it's obscured or it's being bogged down by something else or the trash needs to be taken out. And so it gets clogged. And they're saying that's okay. It's part of it. Now they're directing me to my cleansing spray. Maybe to do a little cleansing. Emotional cleansing, energetic cleansing, spiritual cleansing, physical as well, cleansing. And this is going to help to purify, and it's going to help to clarify. And they keep drawing me back to this message of like, it's okay to not be okay sometimes. Like it's okay to mess up. Actually, they didn't say mess up. They said F up, but I'm not going to swear outright on YouTube because I don't know who's here watching or what age you are or what your sensitivities are. Oh, that reminds me. It's like, because I'm thinking like, I don't want to trigger anyone. Curse words. The trigger isn't the curse. Oh. Or the curse isn't the trigger? No, the trigger isn't the curse. There's something in the trigger that helps break the curse. Yeah, look at how the temperance cat is arched back and puffy tail. That's like aggression response or defense response. And it's funny that they're bringing my attention to that because the next card is the 7 of Wands, which is all about defense. So where are you defensive? Where do you bristle? For me, I feel it in my body. Obviously, we all do, but like, I want to describe to you the visceral experience that I have when I'm triggered. Usually I'll notice it, I'll catch it early by a prickly sensation that runs kind of from like just around my neck up into the top of my head. And it feels like little pins and needles. And it's almost like being a cat and having the hairs stand up on my back and my tail puff out. It's like that. I'm like, ugh, like, okay, that irked me. That got me. That stuck me. Putting a fork in a wound is what they just showed me. And it's like, yeah, but we all don't want to feel that, but it's helpful because it shows us where there's wounds or where there's things we haven't integrated or where there's parts of the self that are needing to be burned off in some ways. Like they're showing me that process of the metal being burnt off and the pure metal remaining. So let's talk about this Page of Swords. I'm hearing new approach. Okay, yeah. That's what the Page of Swords is. It's like a new course of study. It's new information. It's being open-minded. It's being in like a student role or a beginner mindset. And they're showing me that there's something here within the beginner mindset of being open to maybe like changing the way that you're thinking about yourself or the situation or another person. I'm hearing not pointing the finger. When we point the finger, what's that saying? Like when you point a finger, there's like 3 more pointing back at you or 10 more pointing back at you or something. It's like that because when you're externalizing any kind of blame, you're devaluing the raw catalyst that is there to help you understand what's going on emotionally within you. That person is an archetype and they're playing a role in your life just as you're playing a role too. Not just in theirs, but just in general. And so there's something about being open to learning, being open to seeing the truth, being open to understanding something from a new perspective, humble perspective. Perpetual almost wanted to come out of my mouth, something about perpetual motion, something that continues infinitely. The source of the spirit, they're saying. Okay. The Emperor was underneath that. Come on, focus. There we go. The squirrel. Oh, the squirrel. This has also been another synchronicity. Spirit's been showing me stuff to do with squirrels and acorns and like burying a nut, forgetting the nut, that nut growing into a tree, or the squirrel getting the nut. Sorry. My mind is dirty. Could be something about like taboos, sexuality. Yeah, we're talking about relationships. 2 of Cups, the lovers, the Fool. It's like this innocence in sexuality rather than the repression of it, then it becoming darker, distorted in its repressed state. Because that's what the shadow is. It's any part of the self that was once in the light that falls into the darkness because it is rejected in some way or pushed to the side or put in prison. And in doing so, it kind of like rots there, It was once good food that had nutrition in it, and pushed to the side, it rotted. But we can kind of bring it back to life in a sense and extract the nutrients from it so that we can heal. They're giving me the word herald again. Maybe it's a name, Harold. Harold and Kumar go to White Castle. I was seeing references to White Castle, like the little burgers. I don't know why, but there could be something about that, like a journey, quest for something, right? Like, and you go on like all this wild misadventure trying to get to this one little thing that's going to satisfy you. It's like trying to meet the need, but getting distracted in the process or getting deluded in the process. Because the next card we have is the 7 of Cups. Oh, and underneath that is the 4 of Swords. And then the 9 of Cups. 9 of Cups being that wish fulfillment, that quest for the little hamburger with the flavor crystals that we all want so badly, or that at least Harold and Kumar want so badly. And the 4 of Swords is like, are you going about this the right way? The clock in the background is really standing out to me. So there's something about timing about this message as well. There's timing to this. There's mechanisms of timing to this. Or it takes time to temper. It takes time to temper steel is what they just said. It takes time to heal. Time heals all wounds. And I don't think that's true. I think that time can give you perspective on wounds. it can either let those wounds go deeper and fester, or it can create some distance from them so that you can look at them more impartially. Either way, it's going to help you heal, because if the wound festers, you can see where it needs to be dealt with, because the symptoms are going to get so bad that you have no choice but to address what's going on or what's causing the wound or what it needs to heal. And if in the opposite direction, it gives you a little bit of distance, detachment, to be able to begin unpacking what emotionally did cause that wound in the first place, then that works too. But there's something about distraction here. That was another message Spirit was bringing through recently. They were saying, like, keep your eye on the prize. Don't get distracted. But they're showing me warmer and colder again. So it's like even the distractions are part of the game. Even those things that seemingly pull us off course are actually still working for our benefit. They're going to get us to where we're going, if in an abstract or roundabout way. They're showing me perpetual motion again, and perpetual motion is something infinite. The circle, they're showing me a circle. Circles are infinite. So it's like whichever direction you go in a circle, even if it feels like you're going in a straight line, you're not. You're always going in a circle and you're coming back. They're saying something about an unbroken chain, and I unconsciously put my hand on my heart when I said that. So an unbroken chain in the heart, something about connection, links. They're showing me keys, unlocking things, opening, releasing a chain, a burden, some kind of a karmic wound from the past, karmic imprint. This could be in the DNA, linkages, something about linkages. Seeing the truth, opening the door. The door is the portal. Finding your way forward and finding your footing, something about finding your footing. Root chakra is significant here. And they're bringing me back to the mind, resting the mind. But in the mind here, right over top of the eye of the cat, he's got the, oh, wow, that is not, okay. I was going to say the symbol of Mars, but it almost wanted to come out of my mouth channeled as the Queen's symbol, which is interesting to me and almost the complete opposite. Well, it is the complete opposite because Mars is a masculine archetype. So something about the Queen's symbol related to Mars, the masculine, the Emperor Aries. We have two queens in the reading. Queen of Cups and the Queen of Pentacles could be significant here too. Pisces, Scorpio, Cancer, Capricorn, Virgo, Taurus. Listed all the signs except for the air signs. So sometimes it's not about paying attention to what's there, it's about what's not there. Oh, that was the message. Okay, thank you. But there's a reward, okay? There's a reward, a warm hearth. And they're showing me again, it's like there's this cat being left out in the cold and he's invited back in and he's sitting in front of the fireplace in his rightful place. And the nourishment of the soul, the acorn, the roots, the food, the nourishment, the grapes, there's something of this reward that's nourishing for the soul. And it fills your belly. Solar plexus could be part of this as well. Fire element. The elements of the spirit, the elements of time, and how things cycle or circle. They're showing me spin. They said retroactive spin. Retroactive spin. What is that about? Okay, they're showing me when somebody flicks a basketball off the tips of their fingers and it spins backwards, but it gets into it like you're able to control the spin as it's moving through the air. Again, element of air. Okay. What does this mean? Like you're able to get it through the hoop. So you get the point. Something about points. You get the point. Not just like a point in a game, but like you get the point. You understand something. The point of it. By going backwards. Maybe there's a retrograde going on. Mars makes me think of astrology. We were talking about the signs. So maybe there's a retrograde or some kind of like a retrograde energy that's causing you to reassess or reevaluate or review something from the past that was hindering you because that part of the shadow hadn't been integrated yet. And so it was pulling your focus, or it was pulling you off track. But again, being off track helps you get on track. It's 11:11 a.m. right now as I said that. It's an activation, it's a gateway, it's a portal. It's also two people. Yeah. Connection. They're showing me like doing this. Something about meeting in the middle, or it looks like a roof. Yeah, like a shelter, like a home. Something about the home. Your sense of home. Security, your sense of security, protection. And they're bringing me back to that message of the unshelled crab, like the vulnerability, feeling exposed, feeling sensitive or open to attack. And the home being the protective force, the divine feminine. Ah, yes, they were telling me about divine feminine archetype, Mother Sophia, Mary Magdalene, Mother Mary. There's something about a blueprint. And they're bringing me to the moon card. And they're showing me the lobster on the... right there. Okay. So yeah, it's like the shell cracking open, exposing, and then the fish. The fish have been a symbol Spirit's been showing me as well. They were showing me like goldfish and different types of fish in a tank. Something about an experiment. Can you keep the fish alive? Fish could be related to Pisces. That's 12th house. I just heard North Node as well. If somebody in this group has a North Node Pisces placement, or something about North Node possibly in the 12th house. The 12th house is connected to the spiritual realm, all things that are hidden, prisons as well, things that are like kept away, hidden in the dark. It's past lives. Repressed things, deep psychological healing, spiritual healing that needs to take place. Something about rose codes as well. They're saying rose, the rose lines, rose codes. Something about the moon matrix, connected to family, they're saying, and how that's directly related, literally using the word related. Something is related to you, or you relate to it. You incarnated in this relational line. They're showing me the chains again, the unbroken chain. To be able to open, they're showing me an open window, open door. If you can't find an open door, open the window. An opportunity. It's like this line, incarnational line, this karma, this imprint, this wound, generational curse I just heard. Oh yeah, it's an opportunity. And when we go through the suffering of that, it doesn't feel like it, right? Like when you're put into a line where there's some kind of like hardcore trauma, abuse, addiction, whatever else, it's not easy. It does not feel like an opportunity, but there's some kind of an opportunity. They're saying the word catalyst, and they're showing me a thread, a ball of string. Ball of string. Unraveling, raveling. They're showing me raveling it up and then unraveling it and then raveling it up. Expansion and contraction. And something about how these lovers meet. They said how the lovers meet. How do the lovers meet, Spirit? They said through conflict, and we have the 5 of Swords. Through conflict, a tug of war. The lovers meet. The inner union of the self meets initially through conflict, because it's something about coming to a conclusion. It allows you to come to a conclusion. They're showing me a dream catcher, so something about the dream realm or sleep is important. Yeah, we have the moon here. 12th house can also be about, like the subconscious mind, dream, astral state, astral realm. So the 8 of Swords is also here. And this one to me is like, okay, what are you not willing to see? What have you not been willing to look at? Maybe you felt it there, but you did not want to go there. Maybe you were willing to analyze it, but you weren't willing to feel it. Something about grasping claws, something grabbing, someone grabbing at you and possibly neediness, addressing where you needed something and were denied that and felt like you had to fight for it, or got angry that you didn't receive it because it was unjust. And so you're like, I'm going to take it for myself. But in doing so, yeah, they're saying you missed the point, but that's the point too. So like the point is to miss the point at some point. Say point again, point. Because in missing the point, it forces you to look for the actual core of the message. Like, why did this happen? And they're saying go deeper, and they're showing me someone digging again. So digging, looking below the surface, doing some subconscious work, shadow work. They were also bringing through the word therapist a lot in the last 48 hours. They were saying therapist and leading me to stuff about that. So this could be alchemized or catalyzed through a therapist. You might have some level of understanding that you wouldn't have had through a therapist or some kind of a healer. Or doing this kind of shadow work is like therapy. But if you're not familiar with how to break down archetypes and understand these things, a therapist can be helpful. 6 of Swords, 7 of Pentacles, and Strength to close out the reading. All right, so we've got, I saw 3131. Somebody could be 31 years old, or March 1st could be significant. We've got Strength, 7 of Pentacles, and the 6 of Swords. Yeah, you're getting to the root of an issue here. A deep root of an issue that was swimming in the seas of the subconscious, the repressed mind. And it was a trap. It was keeping you trapped. But you're seeing the details of this now, or you're seeing the smaller, finer points. Again, they just keep saying the word point. The point of a sword, the point of an argument, the point of something happening, the peak of something. Yeah, they were showing us this, like the peak of the house, the point, the triangle, the top point. And there's something about that there's cues or codes in that are meant to help you to find your way out of this trap, of this maze, of this net, of this, they said something about non-circular. They're showing me a circle and a line, something about non-circular. Maybe the karma was non-circular in the sense that it wasn't connected to the aligned infinite. Like it was repeating, but in a pattern that was linear. Or maybe the opposite, going back in a circular way or thinking in a non-circular way. I don't know how to interpret this one. They're showing me like the planks or the boards on the boat, how they go this way, and these ones go this way. Something about opposing directions. Like grid patterns, or something about the geometry, because they're showing me triangles, circles with lines, crosses. Like there's something about the fabric of the reality, or the geometry behind this that is connected somehow. And I'm hearing the word escape, to your escape. Okay, it's connected to your escape from this pattern, from this cycle. I heard worldview, from this worldview. Okay. Page of Cups. They said use the imagination to your advantage. So I think that dreams are going to be really intense right now. Use your dreams as a tool, because if you can look at your dreams symbolically to understand what your subconscious is trying to tell you about these hidden or repressed things, you're going to see something more clearly, and you're going to be able to escape the trap of the non-linear cycle that you were stuck in. Non-linear cycle, and something about cycling back on itself again, but you're using that to your advantage. They're showing me the wings on the cat now. Something about the wings is significant. I keep saying the point. Maybe it's a location, like a point on the map, or what? Something about the dock of the bay, the launch point. Yeah, like where something makes birth. Pirates of the Caribbean references again, but they were singing Dock of the Bay in my head. The lyrics of that song could be significant, but where something makes birth is kind of bringing me back again, full circle, which is a major theme in this reading, major symbolic theme, full circle, on back to the mother, where something makes birth, the mother. Whether it's the physical mother or the energetic mother, where something is created from, where it begins. Ooh, that's an interesting concept. I don't know if I want to go into that right now, Spirit. We're already at 36 minutes and I have to get going. I have an appointment to go to. Okay, maybe I'll write that down and save that for another reading. They said something about... No, they said don't say it. Okay, fine. Sorry to leave you on a cliffhanger like that, but they'll bring it back up when we need to talk about it. But I think I'll leave the reading there. So this is obviously a very esoteric message. There's a lot of symbolism here. There's a lot of coding. There's a lot of cues, they're saying, to catalyze the healing. So if you were drawn to this reading and you're still here, I hope that this was helpful in some way. Let me know by liking the video, or share your story in the comments below if you want to. You can. Or your interpretation of things as well, because sometimes you will have an interpretation of something that will help me or that will help someone else, because we're all walking each other home. We're all different fractals of the self, and they said that's the point. Get the point, kid. That's what they said. Okay. Anyways, I've got to go. So thank you guys for being here. I love you, and we'll see you in the next reading.